Welcome back everyone. So today I'm going to showing you how to intercepting route in Next.js. So what is intercepting route? So it's basically, as you can see here in the image, when we on the feed route here and we have some card in here and the card is wrapping inside the link, and the link when we click it should be open the detail, which is photo/123. It's not going to open the detail page, but it should open the intercepting route. That means it can be anything. It can be modal or it can be anything. So in this case, the intercepting route is modal. So instead of open the detail page, it open the modal page. And as you can see, the route is still in the detail. So when we refresh this browser here, now it should be open the detail page. So let me showing you the real example on Unsplash.com. As you can see here, we have the grid of the image. All right, when I click that, it should be open the modal here with the image. But as you can see in the top here, in the URL, we basically open the photos / and the ID of the image. When I close this, as you can see, now we on the unsplash.com. And when I open this and refresh, it's going to be open still the detail page. When I scroll up, as you can see, this is the detail page. So that's the intercepting route mean. We intercept the detail by showing the modal pop-up. All right. It can be anything. It can be login page or any page you want basically. So yeah, that's what we are going to learn, and yeah, let's get started. So now open your terminal and we are going to install Next.js. So let's scroll down and I'm going to use this command npx create next applettes, and I'm going to give a name learn-intercepting route. We are going to use TypeScript, ESLint, Tailwind, source, app router, and import alias. Just say no. I just enter all the equation. All right, it's done. So now let's cd into intercepting route. It should be learn intercepting route folder. Let's say learn intercepting route folder, and I'm going to open that inside Visual Studio Code. All right, so now let's open a terminal. Let's say npm run dev to start the localhost 3000. And then I'm going to remove the styling. So let's go to global CSS and just remove this. But I just want to still using this Tailwind. Let's go through the page. Let's remove all the main content in here. I'm going to close the terminal. Let's remove all of this. And I just want to showing H1. Let's say home. Just like that. And let's save and let's take a look on the browser. I'm gonna open localhost 3000. So as you can see here, we have home. Great. So now let's go back to Next.js documentation. Let's scroll down. And before we learn how to intercepting route, we need to understand how to create parallel route. So parallel route mean is we have, for example, this is the example. We have theme or analytic or any page you want. It doesn't really matter the name, and inside the theme or analytic we put the page.js, and inside the page.js basically it's really similar like this one, and you can render the page here, the theme page, inside the layout just like this example here, and it will be independent. That means when the you can create the is loading, you can create error here. When the, for example, analytic get that error here, just this segment here will error. Another segment is not gonna be error. That's the beauty about this parallel route. So let me showing you how to create that. So inside this app folder, I'm gonna create folder call. I wanna say theme just for the, just like the example of the documentation. So inside the theme here, I'm gonna create page.tsx. So in here, I'm going to say rfce, and let's change that to theme page. And the names doesn't really matter basically. So I'm going to render this theme inside the layout. So we can grab it here. Let's say theme. The theme should be React Node theme. and should be React node. And then now we can put the theme in here, just like so. So the name of the props here should be same like the name of the folder here that you create in here. So now let's refresh and hopefully we see theme. No, we not see it. So I think we need to restart the server. Let's say npm run dev, and hopefully now we see the theme page here. All right, great. So basically you can just styling whatever you want in here. So for example, I think I'm going to create components folder. So in here, I'm going to create, for example, let's say box.tsx. And in here, I'm going to say rifce, like so. And I'm going to create the props interface here. I'm going to say interface box props. It's going to be have children, and this children here should be React node, like so, and we can grab it here. So before we grab, we need to specify this component. It should be functional component that have these box props, like so. So now we can grab the children. Great. So the children, I'm going to put that inside this box. Let's say children. And this div, I'm going to just styling that a little bit. I'm going to add another props, I think. So I'm going to say extends, and I'm going to say react.html attribute. And this is going to be, as you can see, because this is a div, I can put, let's say, HTML div element, just like so. Just by doing this, I'm going to go back to page here, and I'm going to render the box in here. So let's say box, like so, and I'm going to put home page, like so. And then here I'm going to say control and then space. As you can see, we can access all the div props that are available here because we extend the box props here. All right, so in here I'm going to grab the children and also a class name, because I'm going to add a color in here and the rest of the props, just like so. And I can put the rest of the props in here. Let's say props, and also I'm going to put class name because we're using Tailwind. Of course, I can say I can say class name, and then in here I can do Hake, for example, 20. And let's say I'm gonna put the item of the div here into the center. So I can use flags here, display flags, item center, and also the justify should be also on the center. Nice. So now I'm gonna go back to page here, and let's add some class name. And here I'm gonna say background. Let's find beautiful background. I'm gonna use this this one, and as you can see, we have this home page right here. It's not on the center, not really important, but yeah, it should be item center, not item center. So now it's gonna be on the center. Great. So now let's go back to the theme page, and also here I'm going to render the box, like so. And I'm gonna say class name, and the background I'm gonna do, let's say, another color. Let's say this violet. Here we go. And now we can just styling the layout here. For example, I'm gonna wrap this children and theme inside the main. So let's say main, and I'm gonna render that right here. And this main, I'm going to add some class name. Let's say class name. This is gonna be grid and grid template. No, I think grid columns. I'm gonna say 2. Also, I'm gonna set the maximal width into 7XL. Also, the MX, I'm gonna set that to auto. So now, as you can see, I'm going to zoom out. You can playing around with your layout basically. Whatever you want is will be showing in here. You can do that. So this is our parallel route. and it successfully rendered in our route here. Great. So now let me go back to documentation and let's see what we can do. So in here in parallel route, we can basically add condition. For example, if user login, we're showing the dashboard parallel route at dashboard/page, this one. And if user not login, we're showing the parallel route, which is login parallel route, and it's gonna be a login page. Nice. So yep, you can just write this parallel route documentation if you want. So let's go to intercepting route now. So what we need to create now is basically, I'm going to create a grid of the image come from Unsplash API. And when I click the image, it should be open the pop-up intercepting route. All right, so yep, the first thing what we need to do is I'm gonna go through my page. I'm gonna close other tab. Let's say close other. And instead of doing box here, oh, this is theme page, not home page. So let's go to home page. I'm going to app and then page here. All right, so in here, what we need to do is we need to fetch data from the Unsplash. So of course you need to go to Unsplash developers and create your apps. After you create your apps, you now on the unsplash.com/this one. That means you have your application, you have your access key and secret key. All right, so now let's open the documentation. Let's see how we can make a GET request on the Unsplash API. So let's go to authorization here, go to public authentication. And this is how we can basically make authentication in this Unsplash API. So let's go to app. Normally, I create a folder called lib, and I create the function of the fetch image inside this lib folder. So let's do that. I'm going to create unsplash.ts, and inside in here, I'm going to create variable called headers. Set equals to is going to be object, and let's go back. I'm going to put this authorization here and give it value into this one here. I'm going to copy that. So I'm going to use backtick. Let's put it right here. And this access key, it should be come from my Unsplash access key. So now let's access that. I'm going to get from my environment variable. We don't yet have that, but let's say process.env. Let's say unsplash underscore access underscore key. All right, so let's copy this name, and I'm going to create one file called .env, and in here I'm going to put the unsplash access key set equals to, and we can go back and let's take a look my access key. This one, I'm going to copy that. Let's paste that in here, just like so. All right, so here I'm going to say export. Let's say function called get photos. This is going to be get all popular photos. I'm going to say get photos, and set equals to, this is going to be async function. Let's say async arrow function, like so. And here I'm going to say const URL set equals to, and let's go back to documentation and let's see, this is the URL that we need to use. So let's copy that, and I'm going to use new URL like so, and put this http API unsplash.com/photos. Nice. So in here I'm going to say URLs dot let's take a look. Let's see on the list photos, and here we can make a GET request on the /photos, and we can send this param page, per page, and order by. So I'm going to send the per page and order by. So let's go back here. I'm going to say URL dot search params dot set. I'm going to send per page. Let's say per underscore page. Per page, I'm going to get a 10 image, and then I'm going to copy and paste this. And also, oh, it's not going to be, it should be comma. let's say comma, and per page, and then I'm going to say order by, let's say order by, and the value is going to be popular. And then down here, I'm going to return wait for fetch. I'm going to fetch the URL and I'm going to send the headers. Let's send the headers for authorization. Nice. So in here, I also want to export const get individual photos. And here again, I'm going to use async function. And what I'm going to do here, let's say return wait for fetch. And then in here, I'm going to fetch this Unsplash API. So let's put that right here. And then here, I'm going to put a specific ID. So let's put this ID here. Oh yeah, because we're using variable, we should use template literals, meaning we use this backtick. And this ID here should be come from the props. So let's put ID. This ID should be string. Just like so. And here, I also should send the headers for the authorization. Nice. So now we can use this get photos function inside my page here, inside my home. So to do that, it's really simple. So here I'm going to say const response set equals to, I'm going to wait for get photos like so. Because we're using await, we need to change this server component here into async component like so. And in here, I can say const photos set equals to await for response.json like so. And here I'm going to console log the photos. So let's console log, because this is server component, we can see the result on the terminal. Nice. As you can see here, we have the result. And basically what I'm going to use is the ID and the description. Oh wait, this alt description, and also the urls.regular. All right, so now because we're working with TypeScript, I think now let's create the types. Types.ts. So in here, I'm going to export, let's say interface. I'm going to give a name photos like so. And here I'm going to say ID, which is this ID here. It should be string. Let's put string. And also we have URLs. And inside these URLs, we are going to get the regular here. So let's say regular like so. And it's going to be string. And also finally, let's get the alt description like so. And this is also string. Nice. So let's go back to Unsplash and I'm going to close this. What we need to do now, let's go to page, and here when I say photos dot, as you can see, we not get any autocomplete here because we don't set this photo into these types here. We don't specify the types. So to do that, it's pretty simple. We need to wrap this like so, and we need to say as photos like so, and it should be inside an array. So now I can say photos.map, as you can see, because this is array, I can access the 0, and then here we have ID, URLs, and alt description. Great. So instead of returning box here, I'm going to return div. Let's do div. And inside this div, I'm going to map through the photos. Let's say .map. Just like so. So let's try to save and let's see what we have on the browser. Let's see. I'm going to refresh. All right, we get this error here. What happened? So basically what we need to do is let's go to the Next.js, and I'm going to specify here the images folder, images object, and inside in here I'm going to put the domains, and let's put an array. So we are going to copy this images.unsplash.com. Copy that, paste that right here, and hopefully now it will work. So let's see what we have. Nice. As you can see, we have the images here. Great. And let's go back to photos. And what we need to do here, I'm going to create something like grid here. Let's say class name set equals to display grid. I'm going to say for medium, grid columns to, let's say 3. And also the place items, I'm going to say center. Also the gap between the image, I'm going to set that to 4. Nice. So this div here, I'm going to add class name call. I'm going to add just simple shadow. Let's say shadow to XL, and also make it rounded to medium, just like so. Let's take a look. As you can see, we have really nice image here, but as you can see, we still see this parallel route. We can remove it if you want. Let's go to layout, and here I'm going to just make it like so. Let's comment that, and we are gonna remove this column to 1, and here we go. Nice. So now let's create the detail. Super easy. So in this app, I'm going to create a folder called photo, and inside the photo here, I'm going to create a folder again. It's going to be ID, and inside the ID, let's create a file called page.tsx. So let's do photo detail. Alright, so here I'm going to click that, and it should be open the photo detail. Alright, so what we need to do now is inside the photo detail, I'm going to fetch the get photo. So here I'm going to say const, let's say response set equals to await, because this is await. Of course, this function, it should be async. Let's say async function, like so. We need to wait for get individual photo. And here, how do we get the ID? Simple. So we can say const first. I'm going to create the interface. So instead of returning photo detail here, we need to create another component to do that. So here inside the components folder, let's do another file. I'm going to call this image detail.tsx, like so. Let's say rfce. And let's go back, and I'm going to render the photo detail. Not photo detail, but image detail. Image detail. The name is really similar. I want to change this to, maybe something like photo detail page. It doesn't really matter basically. So now I'm going to send this photo into image detail, like so. As you can see, we get the error because now image detail don't get any params. So we can fix that. Let's do interface. I'm gonna call this image detail props. It should be have params, and inside the params we have the photo, and this photo have a photo interface, just like so. And in here we can grab the params. Basically we don't need to do this something like this. We can just specify the photo here. So let's say photo, we remove the params, and we grab the photo just like so. Now in here, let's remove this div. I'm gonna do, let's put h1, and here I'm gonna say the photo dot alt description. As you can see, we get this warning here because we don't put the props here. So let's say functional component, and then I'm gonna put the image detail props just like so. Nice. So inside the h1, I'm gonna say class name to, let's say font bold, just to make it just a little bit look nicer. So text to XL, and also text center, and margin vertically, I'm gonna say, let's say 10 or something. Okay, so let's go back and see what we have. Let's refresh. We get something wrong happen. Let's go to console. Nothing really happened basically. Let's see what I'm doing wrong here. So let's go back to Unsplash, and basically this should be photos. So now let's save, and here we go. We have the description of the image. Nice. So let's go back to let's close this, the types, environment variable. Let's go back to image detail component. And in here, let's render image in here. I just want to copy and paste come from here. Let's copy that and paste that right here. So as you can see, we can go back, click the detail of the image. It should be open the detail. As you can see, nice. You can click that. It should be open the detail. So now we need to working with the intercepting route. All right, so let's go back to the documentation. So the first thing, what we need to do to make a intercepting route. So the first thing is we need to create the parallel route. Okay, so let's close everything, and I'm gonna create parallel route called modal. So let's say modal. All right, so I'm gonna do my best for explain this. It's really hard to do basically. So as you can see, we have theme, and then inside theme we have page.txx. So this page will available for entire application, all right? So now for the modal, I just want to render page that available inside the detail page, all right? So as you can see here, if we need to render the photo that have on the same level, we need to use this dot here. But if there's the photo here on the one level above, we need to use this one. 2 level above, we need to use this one. And if the segment inside the root, we need to do this one. So let's see here. All right, this example, we need to render this photo here, the page here, into the modal that represent this photo ID, right? So as you can see, this is one level above. We need to go to outside the feed, and then we need to access the photo. That means we need to use 2 dot right here. Okay, so now what we need to do here is just same level. All right, so here we can do like so. Let's say dot and then photo, and then here I'm going to create folder call ID, and inside the ID I can create page.tsx like so. So I'm going to say RIFCE, and let's do modal detail page. Okay, so here I'm going to render the modal into the layout. So I'm going to do here, let's render the modal. But again, we need to grab that from here, the modal, and then the modal, it should be React node. Okay, so let's go back and see what we have. As you can see, we have modal detail page that render on the photo detail. Let's go back, let's refresh, and now our application should be crashed because here we need to create the default value. So let's say default.tsx default page. So in here I'm going to say RIFCE, and I'm going to change this to default. Okay, so here as you can see, now on the left here, you cannot see it, we have default. The default means this is going to be rendered for every page. We don't need to render anything basically. So now we need to say return null. So now it's going to be gone. All right, let's click this detail, and now here it's going to be render. I'm going to zoom out. As you can see, modal detail page. So now we know that our modal detail page is rendered. All right, so now I'm going to styling this to kind of like modal pop-up in here. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to just remove this one. Let's make it bigger. And also down here, I'm going to say image detail. Like so. The image detail should be have the photo props, right? So what we need to do is, let's just try that. And I'm going to go back And when I click this, as you can see, we have this pop-up with X symbol right here. It's not work for now, but at least, as you can see, this is intercepting the detail page. As you can see, when I click on that, it's showing modal pop-up. When I refresh, it's open the detail. Nice. So now, what I'm going to do here is really similar like the detail. So on the detail page here, we fetch the get photo. So I'm going to copy that. And let's try to do that in here. Now we need to send this photo into this image detail. Let's send that photo to photo. Just like that. So now let's try to click on this image and bam. As you can see, now we see the image on the pop-up modal. When I refresh, it's showing the detail page. Nice. So now our application is working, but now the close pop-up here is not working. How do we close that? So basically, when we want to close this modal, we need to just say, when we click, we need to make a route back to just /. Just simple as that. So now I'm going to create another component. Let's see, on the source component, I'm going to create a file called button close modal, like so. Let's say close modal with lowercase l.tsx. Nice. So let's do rice. And here, what I'm going to do, let's returning div. And this div here have a class name called absolute. And the top 4, I'm going to put the icon on the top right here. So let's say top 4. And the right, I'm going to say 4. And also the cursor into pointer. Just like so. And here I'm going to say X. Nice. And what I'm going to do next is when I click that. So of course we need to handle the on click event. And now when I click that, I want to run the router. So let's say const router set equals to use router, come from next navigation, and here I'm going to run the function. Let's say router dot like so. Because we're using event handler here, we need to change this component into use client. Let's say use client. So now we can use this button close modal into our page here. Instead of render button here, I'm going to render button close modal. The reason why I'm not write my button close modal here is when I put button close modal in here, that means I typing this div inside in here, I should use this on click, and I should change this component here into use client component. So I don't want that. I want my page here, it should be a still server component, but my button, it's client component. Okay, great. So now let's try to click this. Oh, we need to refresh that. Let's go back and I'm going to click this image here. Click on that. And as you can see, we have this icon on the right top. When I click on that, it should be redirect me to the home page. Click that again, open the modal, and I close. As you can see, nice. When I click and refresh, it should be open the detail. All right, hopefully guys, you learn something new from this video, and hopefully this video not gonna be too long. And yep, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.